this. Is there anything you want the fans to know, or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Hey y'all, we are live. Welcome to Jedi Mike 7 Movie News Show. I'm your host, Jedi Mike 7, with my partner in crime, Jay King. Jay King, how you doing?
I am doing good. I'm feeling very... You. All right.
That sound wrong. Anyway, yeah, y'all. So we were talking about the first two episodes for new Star Wars Disney Plus show. AHSOKA has dropped last week. We have a new episode coming in tomorrow. But before we get into that, we're gonna be going over just actually spoiler breakdown. We already have my non-spoiler review of the first two episodes already posted on my channel. Make sure you go check that out. Also today, I just dropped a video of me covering the floor of the Ahsoka booth from San Diego Comic-Con. I make sure you go check that out. Basically showing some of the costumes and set designs and the mural piece that's showing the show, as well as such as the lightsabers and other things like that. So yeah, you guys are able to check that out. But make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. As we'll be going over our thoughts and our opinions of this show. And as you see over the internet, this is really bipolar. You hate it, love it, whatever. We're gonna talk about it, but we're gonna get into the light side, the dark side, and all in between. So,
in the back rooms of Tatooine, and all that's seen within it.
Yeah. I have to keep that now. I had to. That was the last second thing I had to keep. Get Tyrone Magnus's now I can use that. Yeah, I'm glad I have that now. J. King, I just want to get your first initial thoughts of just the first two episodes before we actually get diving deep into it, and then I'll give my thoughts, and then we just kind of go from there.
Okay. Well, so far 2 episodes in, and third episode's tomorrow. By the way, guys, like Tuesday. But 2 episodes in, I am very enjoying this. This is one of the Star Wars projects that I have been looking forward to the most. Not only because we get to see more Ahsoka, but also this is in a way technically the the technical fifth season of my favorite piece of Star Wars media, Star Wars Rebels, with many Rebels characters returning within this, like Hera, Sabine, Chopper, and Ezra, and as well as the threat being Grand Admiral Thrawn from there. I was so excited to see these characters not only back, but brought to live action. And I have to say, so far, visually and story-wise, this is going to be probably one of my favorites, like Star Wars Disney Plus series. Like, even with the greatness that was Andor, and even with as much as I love The Mandalorian, this just has something special to it, a type of grandiose that it's setting up for itself that we're going to go through throughout this entire series that we'll discuss in a bit. But it's just, I'm very much enjoying these. These characters are acting like the characters that I know they are. I already have an attachment to pretty much all of them because I've already spent time with all of them, either in Clone Wars or Rebels. So it's like, I've been ready for this series well before we finally got that trailer. And I have to say, I am not disappointed. As a longtime Rebels fan, I'm not disappointed so far.
Yeah. Yeah. When it came to this show, first of all, I was walking with my wife. Shout out to my wife in the building. I was like in Houston when that trailer dropped. I think it was at Star Wars Celebration. And I was on a walk, right, and on this trail. And this was like the same day when the Indiana Jones trailer dropped and everything. I thought those 2 trailers back to back. But really, the Ahsoka trailer was like, hold up now. What the heck is this? And I have to say, this was probably one of my most anticipated, Star Wars content, moving forward and everything. Yes, we had The Mandalorian season 3, which was, really lackluster in a lot of people's opinions and stuff. But this was something different, right? But this was kind of going back to Star Wars that I know and love, but more importantly, what we know and love as as collectively, because more generations of people grew up on Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars, the Clone Wars when I was in middle school, right? I think, I remember going to see the Clone Wars movie when Ahsoka made her actual debut, her canon debut, right? I remember,
everyone hated her at the beginning until they allowed the character to progress.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. No. She definitely hates guy, all this stuff, right? Anakin Skywalker has a Padawan. That's not how the Force works, all that stuff, right? But that's no hero there. But I saw the journey as she grew up. I grew up with her, right? So
yes,
and especially as we get into Star Wars, Clone Wars is also before the Disney acquisition, and then after, we see Rebels, and then going into that. And but really, that's kind of the Dave Filoni camp is really kind of like the heart, or at least what's closest to George Lucas, who we have left so far within Star Wars right now. Right now, whether you love it or hate it, there is a big fandom with the Clone Wars and with Star Wars Rebels, right? And I think
rightfully so.
A lot of the problems that we've had with Star Wars is because they have not really dived into more of the lore as much as Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars have done. Now, yes, these are animated shows, that are on, Cartoon Network and on Disney Plus and stuff. But now the audience, we are older now. We have, grew up with them. And so now we have an attachment to some of these characters, especially to Ahsoka Tano. And with The Mandalorian, gave us the opportunity to see her live action and see her a little more different type of stoic type character, and now we get to dive deep into it, right? And also we get into more of the villains of this series as well, like getting return of Grand Admiral Thrawn, and seeing new dark side users, but people were probably formerly part of the Jedi Temple, which we'll get into, right?
Yeah, more like gray Jedi in a sense, what we are starting to call them now.
Right, and we're gonna get into more, deep into our theories about, for tomorrow and like the rest of the season and stuff like that. But I have to say, just to share my first initial thoughts of this first 2 episodes. Was this the best thing in Star Wars of all time? No. Was it? We have seen Disney Plus shows been promising in the beginning and then just go right? But this was to me was decent and put a smile on my face, and it was good. It didn't have to be the greatest thing ever. Did not have to be the greatest thing ever. It just had to be decent and good. And even then, we still have something to complain about. But hey, we're in the art, in the medium of film and art is subjective, just like film is subjective, though. But let's get into it. So we basically get into the beginning of episode 1, where we see Ahsoka going into a temple, which we don't know what the temple is, but we're trying to. She's basically trying to go find on the search for Grand Admiral Thrawn, and
Actually,
what?
it does. It
Oh
doesn't
no!
start there.
Oh, my bad. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah. It
So,
starts on the New Republic ship where we get introduced to our Gray Jedi breaking out Morgan Elsbeth, who we met in Ahsoka's live action debut in The Mandalorian, breaking her out of there. To go and find Grand Admiral Thrawn before Ahsoka does.
yeah, I totally missed that scene. Sorry, my bad.
Mhm.
Hey, matter of fact, while I'm looking up clips of it, you just recap it right now. I'll put
Okay,
it on the
okay.
screen. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, but so basically it starts off with us like seeing one of the New Republic ships, a very similar type to the one that they had in the final battle of Return of the Jedi. The one with the whole like spinning the moving chair, the way that they had it. And basically they get the oncoming approach of a ship with old Jedi clearance codes, and they're like, wait, hold on a second, like the only Jedi out there is like Luke Skywalker, and who knows, maybe Cal Kestis if he's still around. But it's like, who on earth could this be? And they let them on because he's like, I want to meet these Jedi. Let's see. Like they call him their
Oh,
bluff
by the
and all
way,
that.
it's the one of the cops from Rush Hour.
Yeah, I knew that. I found that out.
Yeah, J18 classified.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
Yeah, but they approach our Gray Jedi and also we have to acknowledge the fact that the great Ray Stevenson, who is playing one of these Jedi, sadly passed away earlier this year, but
Yeah.
he is doing a fantastic performance with this character. Basically, like his character is basically one that survived Order 66, and in that time, like especially given his age, would have been around the same time as, say, Anakin, like around that time, like around age, as I'm trying to say. But he has gotten a new apprentice, and they're like, well, you were right about one thing, like we're not Jedi, basically almost evoking what Ahsoka said in her duel against Darth Vader in Rebels with the "I am no Jedi" line, one of the most badass moments in all of Star Wars, in my opinion.
Right.
But they come in, they completely slaughter pretty much everybody, break Morgan Elsbeth out, and she tells them what she had dealt with back in that Mandalorian episode in season 2, that Ahsoka Tano was trying to find where Grand Admiral Thrawn is, which then leads us to where Ahsoka currently is, which is going to what we later find out is an old Night Sister temple to find the map where Grand Admiral Thrawn is, because not only was, as we find out later, not only was Ezra able to send a message to Sabine, Grand Admiral Thrawn was somehow able to send a map, like to somehow have a map to his location, which is about to open a lot of doors within Star Wars. But I have to say, again, one thing I want to point out, we've always been able to tell in the recent years when some things are shot on the volume, the tech that they've been using since the first season of The Mandalorian, and when some things are a lot more practical. But I have to say, a lot of the scenery in this, it is hard to tell if it is the volume. Like, obviously, I say this temple most likely is volume, just given the way that it's designed and everything. But just atmospheric-wise, it feels a lot more open than an enclosed kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but yeah, I want to take a moment here because you can definitely see they're actually putting money into this show. That's the first thing when you see was like the opening shots when Balin and was coming in and actually landing and giving the old like Return to Jedi feel when Emperor's arriving. But again, just like the set design of it, like giving like an Andor look, but also updated, Star Wars suit. Andor, regardless of what people want to say, Andor was beautiful, in terms of like
it was incredibly beautiful
and everything. But No, this show definitely has money backing it because I'm like, and this is the thing that pissed me off with Disney because like you can tell when stuff they kind of half-assed, do their visual effects, but then other stuff you can see, oh yeah, they spend their time with this. So yeah, so no, this was really good quality visually, I'll say. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and so after that, Ahsoka, as I said, she heads her way to this temple that we later find out is part of the Night Sisters, old legend. She cuts her way down into the temple and basically has to solve what is essentially a puzzle that represents the three witches, which also kind of represents what episode two's title is, because episode one was Master and Apprentice. Episode two is Toil and Trouble, much like, the Witches of Macbeth in a sense. And Witches come in three. So, it very much makes sense in that whole regard. But she is able to decode it and gain, the Star Wars classic spear that is also a map, but she's gonna have to decode it at some point. But that's when she then gets ambushed by a bunch of assassin droids. And I must say, when she first popped out of the hole and then the assassin droid was just standing there, not moving, I was getting big, like, if anyone's ever played Little Nightmares, I was getting big Little Nightmares vibes because it was just like I almost felt like if you took your eyes off of him, he was going to come running at you. But there was more than one assassin droid. They all attacked her. But of course, this is the Ahsoka Tano we're talking about. She takes most of them out, though they then set off their reactors to self-destruct. And so she immediately books it to her ship where she reunites with an old friend from Clone Wars, the old robotic Jedi lightsaber. I'm forgetting his name right now, but you know what I'm talking about.
What we mean? Well, wait.
When she gets back onto the ship after the explosion and reunites with
an
old friend.
The training droid for the lightsabers. Who by the way,
who is voiced by Doctor Who, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Hu Yang. That's his name.
Sorry, I have the cast members. So that's David Tennant playing Hu Yang, the droid. Now, Hu Yang is basically a droid that was in Clone Wars, and we've seen him for many years. But he's part of the Jedi Order. He was training younglings and then had lightsabers episodes with Yoda back in the day. You can go look that up on Disney Plus currently right now. But yeah, so he has history. He's been a while, here for a while. So.
Yeah, and Ahsoka tracked him down after the whole war. She tracked him down because again, like Order 66 by this time was like so long ago, so she was able to find him, and he was still alive after all this time, which is crazy. It makes me wonder what he's been doing this entire time.
Yeah. Now, because I don't know, like especially what he was doing during this time, but I know he said there's a quick comment he made that he was replaced by a few parts and stuff like that. But he's very crucial because after they escape, the droids basically self-destruct and everything. We do get he was able to basically later on in the episode to identify the lightsabers from Baylan Skoll and Shin-Hati. And saying, hey, listen, I'm not aware of Shin-Hati's lightsaber, but Baylan, he was there during the Clone Wars, right? So but I want to talk about just a quick thing. We stop with the Night Sisters. So for those of you guys don't know who the Night Sisters are, they're basically known as many names as the Night Sisters, but also the Witches of
Dathomir.
So Dathomirians are basically the race of Darth Maul. And if you remember, there was a big pivotal episode in Clone Wars where they brought, Darth Maul back at least to his conscious mind and gave him away from that spider legs and stuff like that, and also gave him that other what's his name? His name was Bane. Was it Bane?
It might have been. I'm completely forgetting, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm completely forgetting the dude's name, but they're very pivotal. But yeah, they're witches. I was watching this with Team JVS, and I remember Sam, he didn't watch any of the Clone Wars or anything like that, and he's like, wait, there's witches in Star Wars? There's
witches, and also the Witches of Dathomir and Night Sisters have been around in multiple medias. Clone Wars here, and if you've played the Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order games, one of them is a main character within there as well.
Yeah, but now but currently right now they're standing in Star Wars that they're very, very rare, even more rare than
Mhm.
Jedi. So
They are really rare. They
yeah,
like they
so
have their own they have their own thing of they have their own way of going about things. Like and again, they are literally in a sense using magic and a sorts with even like green flames, which we'll talk about with episode 2.
yeah, and this was the part I did like, which is again just adding on to the world building of this. Like we haven't seen Night Sisters in a bit, and even we didn't even know in Mandalorian season 2 when Ahsoka was fighting her. Oh yeah, she's a Night Sister. We didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Yeah,
We just thought she was some general, but now we know Morgan Elsbeth is a Night Sister.
yeah. So and then that adds another dimension. But shout out to Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, 2 games that are also going to this lore. But not only in the temple that represents, you see the 3 Night Sisters, but also I think that represents also the Holy Trinity within the
Mhm.
Force. The Father, the Son, and the Daughter. And
Yeah, which became big parts within both Clone Wars and Rebels, specifically for Ahsoka and Ezra.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, but going further in the episode, as again, note that about the whole ambush that happened beginning of the episode or the escape. We get to see, Ahsoka basically reuniting with Hera, who's now a commander,
Mhm.
and
Hera Syndulla from Rebels.
was also played by Obi-Wan Kenobi's wife in
As
real
well
life.
as Miss, do you know my name?
Which one? Ramona Flowers, Sky
Yeah,
High. What?
yeah. As
Which
well
one?
as as well as for a brief moment, Huntress.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I didn't see that. But yeah, nah, I don't mess with birds of prey. But yeah, but it plays Hera, Harrison Dula, now Commander. Where's the son, by the way? We'll find out soon.
Yeah,
Um,
where is and for anyone who wonders, wait, son, she had a son with the late Jedi Kanan who sacrificed himself in the final season of Star Wars. Their son Jace, who is, I guess, I mean, some time has passed. The dude has to be at least like a teenager or a young adult. So,
yeah, but they changed his hair, but at least I saw
mhm,
he's in one of the trailers. But then we go into the shot with basically they're at the space where I forgot a Lothal, and they basically
mhm.
are celebrating their victory happened many years ago, where Ezra basically sacrificed his life to basically save
Everyone from Grand Admiral Thrawn and a bunch, and we get to see not only the mural, but we get to see 2 characters from Rebels also brought into this. I'm not talking about
oh
Sabine yet, but
what happened?
I'm talking about Clancy Brown, who played Ryder Hassadi both in that animation and now in live action. He was basically an old prisoner who knew Ezra's parents, and then we also had another one. I'm forgetting the name, but it was an old friend of Ezra's that he met in the Empire Academy, that who was also potentially force sensitive. They're both there at the mural celebrating the win of Lothal, but the only person who's not there is Sabine.
Yeah, this was the character right here. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. But yeah, shout out to Mike Entertainment in the building. Shout out to Mike, man.
Yo.
Um, but yeah, no, yeah, this is again the world building, man. Like you didn't know who this character was. He was in Clone Wars. He was
Mhm.
in Rebels.
Rebels.
So
Mhm.
building off of the lore and the legacy and everything, right? Um,
Mhm.
of the mural. In live action. Now, this is not the shot that we see until the end of the episode, but episode 2. But yeah, this is the live action mural, which actually able to take a picture with this and San Diego Comic Con. It is real, not no CGI mess, and that's very well made.
Mhm.
And kind of like just going translating to a live action element here. Sorry, right here. I thought I was showing it, but yeah. But yeah, no, it was really good to see that in person. But again, just also knowing just there's a lot of imagery with wolves and
Mhm.
purgles and stuff you see throughout this show because we know with Ezra Bridger, he's definitely connected to the force with animals.
Mhm.
And but again, the whole tone of this show is not as that everybody's all happy and jolly and everything. It's like no. There've been some years There's been some bad blood between people for right reasons and stuff like that. And I kind of like that. Definitely, they're having a level of maturity with just terms of characters, like
Mm-hmm.
Rebels on like Disney XD. Like no, this is older generation, just as we have gotten older and everything. So I just appreciate them just take themselves more seriously, which some people are kind of complaining about. Say, hey, there's no one acting here; they're all serious and stuff. I'm like, well, that's what happened when you get older. But anyway,
Right? They ain't young no more. Like, you want to see them young? Go watch Rebels or Clone Wars. They ain't young no more.
right, playtime is over. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, but what was next, J King? We went to.
So right after that, they were again celebrating the win of Lethal, but Ryder realized that Sabine was not there, and it turns out that she is not coming to this ceremony. She's instead on the big highway that we've seen multiple times on Lethal in animation, heading back to the tower. That the and by the way, we find out that the New Republic guards on Lethal refer to themselves as the Spectre code names that
Oh, you
the
there?
ghost that the can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, thought you cut
Okay.
out from there. Go ahead.
Okay, but I was saying, like, she was heading back to the old, Ezra's old home on Lethal, and she was even almost getting stopped by the New Republic authorities on there, who was like, you need to go back to ceremony. Which, by the way, fun fact, they're all like code named Spectre something, just like the Ghost crew. How they would codename themselves back in the day on the Ghost. That, of course, being Sabine, Hera, Ezra, and all of them. She evades all of them, makes it back, and she even looks at an old, and yes, we get to see Sabine in live action and very much acting just as the character always does, a literal rebel, a literal badass, um, and now with longer hair, because if you've seen Rebels as well, she always kept her hair shorter because Sabine is a Mandalorian. She is, of
Yeah, I think
House
you were
Ren.
cutting out, man.
She is of House Ren, and she always kept her hair short because, as many of us will probably know, Mandalorian helmets can be freaking like hot. So it's like, keeping your hair short is like a good thing. That's why, Bo-Katan keeps her hair short, whenever, for her helmet and all of that. But yeah, like Sabine, she was a Mandalorian. She even wielded the dark saber before she handed it to Bo-Katan. And well, we know the history of what happened after that. If you watched Mandalorian, what happened after that with the dark saber. But again, she's a little more older now. She's a little more mature, but she is still very much the same character she's always been. Heads back to the tower. We see that she is completely living in Ezra's old space, even taking care of a Loth cat. And she at one point watches a recording that Ezra had left her, I'm guessing right before he went to go face Thrawn, or given what we know about Thrawn within these two episodes, potentially even something that was sent through space and time for all we know. But basically saying, like, sometimes sometimes as Jedi, you got to make the hard decisions no one else can. But I'm hoping that you'll see this whole thing through. And, we're not technically family, but you're still a sister to me, which I find funny because, their whole character development went from him having a crush on her to, basically being like joint at the hip, like, best friends kind of thing.
Yeah, and I don't know where that relationship might go to in terms of like them in the future with that, but yeah, we know Ezra Bridger is cast, played by Iman Esavati. That's playing Ezra Bridger. But again, this I really enjoyed it with this scene right here. Again, it just shows a lot of unspoken history, even for someone who doesn't know Rebels. But if you do, it just you've seen also the drawings in the back, and with the wolves and the loft cap in the back. But again, it's just kind of showing just that there's history being there, and just like, hey, listen, I guess there's also bad blood between Ahsoka. Like, hey, listen, like you're trying to, the goal was trying to find Ezra, and you didn't, and we weren't able to find him and stuff. That's the only reason why I'm here, and now it's like. We don't know if he's presumed dead and if he's ever coming back and stuff. But again, everybody's kind of leaning on this sacrifice that Ezra made, which again was very powerful in Star Wars Rebels. But I just like again looking at this is like it's kind of giving a nod to also just that old Princess Leia message, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope, and message, and also the Obi-Wan Kenobi message of telling everybody from Order 66, to what was it, the hold fast and be ready and basically hold on to to the rebellion and stuff like that. But yeah, I just really like this imagery right here. But one thing too with the actress Sabine is that yeah, definitely when she let her hair grow out with Ahsoka and stuff. But again, Ahsoka is kind of reluctant on saying, "Hey, listen, I don't really want to train her and everything. I tried to, but she's really hard to listen." And then Hera's like saying, "Hey, that sounds familiar. The same thing happened with you and Anakin,
Right.
And again, I like this imagery of like, or at least the irony of like, hey, listen, when I was a student, I was hard headed and everything, just like my master was with his master. Like Anakin was hard headed with Obi-Wan, and now like Sabine is hard headed with Ahsoka, which is hilarious to me. Just knowing where Ahsoka was in beginning of the Clone Wars as a kid, and now, which is also just a reflection of our own life. Just again, like, hey, when especially when eventually I have kids and I'm getting upset with my kids about something, like, well, I was the same way with my parents, and also they might be just a reflection of you too. So same thing with the master and apprentice, so I really enjoyed that. But then what was it? I think what was the next thing? I think before it against the fight.
What happened? So I think around here. So one thing we forgot to mention back when Ahsoka was talking with Hera is like she told her about the spear, like the fact that it can find Grand Admiral Thrawn, and they're like, well, if that's the case, then Ezra might still be alive, like because they all just presumed he was dead after he left with Thrawn in the hyperspace whales, but now they have the chance to find it, but no one can decode it, which brings us to the two of them meeting. But before then, that's when we find out that Morgan Elsbeth is a Night Sister when they go back to the ruins and discuss, that Thrawn, sent this for her. And again, we'll talk more about that with episode 2 when we find out exactly what's going on with this whole thing. But after this, what happens is that Ahsoka lands on the fall, meets up with Ryder. And of course, Sabine, finding out that her old master is back in town, goes to see her, and she tells her about. They go back to Ahsoka's ship, which, by the way, I'm really liking Ahsoka's ship design. But again, as we find out, like after that end of Star Wars Rebels, as we talked about, she was training Sabine in the ways of the Jedi. Now, we don't know necessarily if Sabine has any Force sensitivity, but who knows? Given a lot of things, she might have, if not the Force, maybe something else. There's even a big theory that, it's a reach, that she might be connected to something else for all we know. But basically, she tells her about the spear, that it's a map to Thrawn, which means that we also might be able to find Ezra. Sabine is like, okay, well, let me take this. I'm gonna try and decode it and I'll let you know. And she's like, no, that's not happening because, obviously someone will be after the whole thing. And it goes into this whole like unspokenness of like, there's some bad blood between the two of them. There's some history, some anger between the two of them. And it's like, you never made things easy for me, Master. And it's like, it's just like, man, like what happened between these two characters and between the end of Rebels and now? It's just so intriguing. And of course, that's also when we find out, Wu-Tang finds out that about Balin's saber, and then Sabine escapes the ship and heads back to the tower with, one of our gray Jedi spying on her and knowing exactly where the spear is now.
Yeah. Now, one is also go nod to basically Sabine also just being really just good, being a handy person, and able like as a Mandalorian, she's very creative, which makes her very distinctive from everybody else. But
not only that, it was also, back in Rebels, she also was for a brief moment in the Imperial Academy, so she knows her way around a lot of tech. She knows, like, as Ahsoka.
Hey, are you there? I think you broke up.
Oh, okay, I was saying, like, remember she was also in the Imperial Academy for a bit, so she knows her way around that tech. I mean, as Ahsoka said, she has the artist's eye.
Yeah, right. Because definitely, like and back in the day, she used to be spray painting everything, and that's why her suit's all colorful and stuff. And then people like looking at it now, like, why is it not colorful? I'm like, yeah, well, she's not a kid anymore. But it just,
Plus, she hasn't worn that armor in like a while.
yeah, like she hasn't worn a thing. Oh, you there?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
you were just.
yeah, I don't know, but I was saying, like, yeah, she also hasn't like worn the armor in a while.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's no here or there though. But like again, her being hard headed and her trying to go um back into her space and everything, knowing that she's being tracked, and with what's her name, with Balin Skull basically order his apprentice, basically Shin, to go get her. And this was a huge nod to Darth
So
Maul
yeah, Maul finding Obi Anakin and excuse me, Obi Anakin and all of them in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that shot there, but that was just really yeah, just really distinctive. Like that's from from Phantom Menace stuff, which I like. But again, like she has this very weirdly exotic or some look to her. But yeah, but she's being ordered to go find her, and basically she's being tracked by Shin Hati, and then there's basically a big altercation, which then causes Sabine to basically get in a 1v1 fight with a very, very trained apprentice with Shin Hati, right? And things didn't really go in her favor there.
Well, before that whole duel, Sabine was able to decode the map, especially given the scans of the ruins before they got ruined. So she was able to decode it and open it. So now the map to finding Thrawn and Ezra is open, and then this fight happens.
Yeah, and when she's fighting her, look, like she's not really a well trained apprentice when she was with Ahsoka. However, with Shin Hati, she very is. But and we're getting this, and she's using Ezra's lightsaber, not her own.
Yeah, so with some slight modifications from her, but it's still Ezra's.
Yeah, so I know that now this is the part where in the episode, I know a lot of people have, that's one of the big upsets with this is the fact that Shin Hati gets the best of her and actually stabs Sabine in the chest, but Sabine is all right. She just got a little boo boo.
Yeah, unless your name is Qui-Gon Jinn, you can survive a lightsaber stab.
Right, and I know see a lot of people want to explain this, that like, hey, listen, why the heck, oh wait, all these people can survive, Grant the Grand Inquisitor could get stabbed in the chest and all stuff, but then all of a sudden, what, Sabine get stabbed and everyone, and then all of a sudden everybody's all okay, but. And listen, even though the wound are like the lightsabers, cauterized wounds, there's no blood to see and everything like that. But the way that she punctured her is that really the only thing that she kind of messed up with some intestines, nothing really that vital. But
yeah, it didn't like, it's not like getting stabbed directly in the chest or getting cut in half. Like, it was literally just to the side, not really any vital organs. So of course she had the opportunity to survive. Anywhere else, oh yeah, Sabine would have been done.
yeah, this is what people's reactions were on the internet. So, but yeah, no, but yeah, no matter what we explained though, like yeah, that's what happened. But and that really led to basically the ending
second episode,
ending of episode 1. We get to episode 2. Here she
Toil
is
and trouble.
Yeah, she's basically being with a what was it called? What's the droid called again?
Who tank? Wu Tang.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah,
Who take? Stop.
Gang, galaxy far, far away. We're the original dark side, motherfucker. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Okay.
but yeah, so basically Sabine being hard headed against Ahsoka. I'm sorry, you're right. I should have done this and stuff. But basically, she's able to find, hey, I was able to access, the key and we're able to get into the into the map and everything. And she's like, do you know what planet it was going to, whatever? And said, no, I didn't able to open it by then. But then we basically get opening shot. And listen, this this is giving me Old Republic feels right here. I love this whole map situation. It reminded me of Star Wars Survivor, but Fallen. But like again, I just love the fact that we have the map that is also giving like Indiana Jones type feel, world between worlds, but also just like listen, like not that dumb BS of what was it, the Rise of Skywalker when they had the freaking knife and just they were at the exact place to look at. Hey, this is where the Star Destroyer is at, whatever. Like no. This seems like we have actual relics that make freaking sense, like but yeah, no.
So with this, we basically have a map, as Bale even says, the path to Peridia, which is an old, Jedi legend, and even as she said, there's some truth within that, which kind of stop Stitch is also kind of a meta nod. Because remember, there was that one moment in Rebels where Ahsoka said, like, there is some truth in legends, which is his nod to being like, the old legends, the old legends continuity, which he slowly started bringing back, especially with Grand Admiral Thrawn. But what we basically have here is this is leading to an entirely new galaxy, separate from the Star Wars galaxy we've known since the beginning. Like a whole new galaxy far, far away that is where Ezra and Thrawn are. And even as was decoded by New Rockstars recently, the ending credits with that little map thing is the path to Peridia because they decoded all the words. And it even goes through some planets that we know, like Mandalore. So their destination is to get to Thrawn wherever he is, which, as she said, could even be throughout space and time, very similar to the world between worlds from Rebel Season 4.
But and listen, that's what it's all building up to. Even when you look at the Ahsoka title, that looks like a path between the two worlds, like the design of like just the logo of the show. And I don't think that was by mistake. Listen,
this is Dave Filoni. He does this shit on purpose.
Now, the only thing, though, is that people frustratingly listen, when you bring in the world between worlds, translation to all of y'all is basically time travel. But
it's not. It's not necessarily.
Yes, like it's not, and it is, but it's not. It's like the point of it is that when you're able to walk into this space, the world between worlds, you're able to see different points in space and time. You're able to see past, present, and future. But it was destroyed. Throughout Ezra actually were able to save Ahsoka while she was fighting Darth Vader years ago, and then
he's the reason that she's alive. He pulled her out of her duel with Darth Vader.
Right, and there's been several leaks been going on saying like, shout out to B9. I've not seen you in a minute, man. Shout out to B9 in the building. Yo, yeah. And I know people didn't like that, the whole thing with the lightsaber with Sabine, but in the world of B9, that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been married for a very long time.
I've been married for a very long time. Married for a very long I only just been recently married, but yeah. No. Yeah. But anyway, man. No, we doing well. We're doing well, man. Glad you're here. I'm just like I just really like that, the fact that they're kind of able to expand upon that if possibly, because it's the only thing that makes sense, that they're probably in the place of the world between worlds, because also in the shot with at least from here, you do see a lot of imagery of Purgles, of wolves as well, which again, they're saying people they have able to have access to hyperspace and stuff. So again, it's more like natural way of maneuvering through the galaxy. But again, this is just expanding upon freaking Star Wars and not keeping it limited. That's all we've been asking for, and not
expanding that.
I'm not saying that, hey, making up rules that don't make sense, but actually, no, it builds off the lore you already established, and then it makes sense. It's not ridiculous. It's like, no, this is getting to the religion and different species, and not just on Tatooine and all that stuff, and people of famous last names.
Get us away from the freaking sand and get us out to a new galaxy.
Right. So yeah, I'm all for it. And we do get a reference of Purgles. For you guys to know what Purgles are, they're basically space whales.
They're hyperspace whales.
Yeah. So anyway,
they're where they get the light speed technology from. Where they always that's where they get it from.
Yeah. But yeah, what was next, J. King, episode?
After that, I believe what happened is that with Hera, excuse me, here's what happened. Ahsoka went back to Sabine's/Ezra's old place, where she was then attacked by the last surviving assassin droid. She cut it off, brought the head back to Sabine, who was able to hack into it before it self-destructed itself, blew up the entire hospital that they were in. But they were able to find out exactly where it's coming from, which I believe was Corellia, which had an old base for Morgan and is where they decommission all of the Empire's old stuff. And so Ahsoka and Hera are now on their way to there, along with our boy Chopper, the droid from Star Wars Rebels, who was voiced by Dave Filoni himself, and is basically just Dave muttering words that you can actually hear.
Yeah, and now with this, what was this planet called again?
Corellia.
And Corellia is that that was a place where they were decommissioning all Imperial stuff, which we get into a whole twist at the end of the episode. But one thing I really like that it goes into the whole point of the what was the game? Star Wars Battlefront 2. When after the Death Star exploded, that there was like people just like still trying to take remnants of the Empire and living in different factions across the galaxy and stuff. Even when everyone believed that, hey, the Empire is lost, whatever, but yet there's just you cut off one head, two more will take its place. But that's the whole thing. If Thrawn is alive, then that means that Imperial officers have someone to lead them into a new war, right? And we already know the end result because we're trapped in this canon of this timeline with the sequel trilogy and everything. So fortunately,
we know the First Order is still coming. We know Snoke and the Return of Palpatine is still coming. But at the very least, all the other stuff we don't got to worry about. But yeah, so. Because again, we've seen it in Mandalorian, we somewhat saw it in Book of Boba Fett, and we are seeing it here. Just the remnants of even though Palpatine is gone, even though Darth Vader is gone, there's still too many like remnants of the old Empire that want to rear their ugly head back in.
Yeah, but as we get into that planet of Corellia, that Hera basically joins Ahsoka. And basically,
and good old Chopper as well.
Yeah, and then I like how this was just a time where Hera was able to basically express her, her leadership as a general, saying, "Listen, like, why were there no knowledge of this? Basically, this base being teared down and everything like that." I was like, "Oh well, we don't know. It just might have just happened under it." Like, well, I'm asking you, to show me these records and stuff, right?
He's like, you don't have any, and he's like, you don't have any clearance. It's like, I'm a general. That gives me clearance.
Right. And so everybody's acting all weird and stuff, and then and apparently anything in Star Wars, a lot of white people in the room that something about to go down, so like yeah, so I mean, so yeah, which yeah, so I don't know, but I know that really pissed off a lot of. Yeah, but yeah, I know it pissed off a lot of people. But anyway, But as we're getting
you are getting a lot of use out of that.
oh yeah, I know this is gonna be a meme now. It's gonna be me now,
Mhm.
but yeah, he was asking for it. But anyway, but then we get to this basically this shot now where she's trying to chase this cruiser that's about to leave, and then she is basically
Stopped by an Inquisitor.
or alleged Inquisitor, right? Which we're gonna get into him in a second, or her. This is probably him.
Yeah. But yeah, this is like one of the last few because like most of them have been like taken out either within Rebels or Obi-Wan or the Fallen Order games. But it's like this is one of the last few, at least as far as we know, Inquisitors. Like, they usually refer to themselves as like the Ninth Sister or something like that. But it's like we don't know who this is. This is our first time meeting this one. Heck, a lot of people, for some reason, a lot of people are wondering if this Inquisitor is going to recanonize Starkiller.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna get to that, but let's just like once we get to the episode, I'm gonna theorize about him. But yeah, hold on, I'm trying to get a shot of him, in here, right here. There we go. Struggle streaming already. But yeah, on the right side there, a lot of people are thinking that this guy, on to the far like left, whatever his name is Merrick, but a lot of people are thinking Merrick means what was the name of Starkiller?
I completely forgot the
Other than
real name of
Starkiller, whatever.
Starkiller.
Or Garrick. Was it Garrick?
It might have been. I just remember him being the dude who also does Maul in the animated series.
Yeah. So basically, everyone thinks this is the actor. I'm trying to find the actor's name top of my head, but he basically was the main character.
The actor was Sam something, but he's in one of our.
Yeah, Sam Witworth. He basically did motion capture for for Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, which to me, I don't care anybody else says, that was one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. Come at me.
He also voiced Maul within Clone Wars and Rebels, and of course gave us that iconic Kenobi scream.
Yeah, this is hold on, let's show you this. Yeah, because I remember y'all had to be there. Y'all had to be there back in the day before they all came out, did all this whole legends and BS and stuff. No, this was the shit for me. Now, this was Force Unleashed. I remember I got that for my birthday. I got it on DS. I didn't have no console. I got it on DS, but even then, it was still I was still excited. I remember I had that. My birthday was at Chuck E. Cheese, and my mom opened it. It was Force Unleashed 1. I was like, man, I was happy.
Why'd you say Chuck E. Cheese like that?
Because I was at Chuck E. Cheese. I'm just kind of giving y'all a scenery where I was when I was a kid. That was one place when I was a youngling, and I wanted to get Force Unleashed, man. I thought it was off the freaking chain, and it still is. But just also to let you know, this character is broken as hell. He is OP. He is OP, which is why he really cannot exist in Star Wars. He was known as, Vader's apprentice, and basically he was. Was the what if Luke Skywalker did join, Vader? What would he be, And basically he was training this apprentice, Starkiller, in secret away from the Emperor to overthrow him. So that was the whole point. But yeah, now the whole thing is whether they're going to be canonizing him, because it would be actually very interesting to see that. Hey, listen, the Inquisitors were basically, former Jedi's and now been turned to the dark side to hunt, Jedi's that are going on the run. But now at this time, we already went through a whole swing of Inquisitors in this time of Star Wars history, like the Grand Inquisitor, third sister, all this stuff, the third brother, all of it, fifth sister, whatever, all of them, right? They all at this point, they've all been long gone and dead. At this point,
either killed off by Ezra or Kanan or Cal Kestis. They've just been getting slaughtered.
Or Vader himself, so screw it. But what the theory is that saying that this character might be Starkiller, or a variation of him, right? Now, because then Sam Witworth is quoted as a voice actor in the in the show and in the ending credits, but it's not confirmed if like, hey, who's he playing? He might be a voice for a droid. Yes, he's also the voice of Darth Maul in the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff, but it's not confirmed whether or not. But here's the thing. This is my thing. I'm not trying to get my expectations high because I've been down this road before. Hey, who's it? Aerospace engineer from WandaVision? Nobody.
No one, and you should never ask that.
Right. So yeah, this is not that's just the whole point. It's like, hey, we're not supposed to don't let your speculation become expectation. So I'm just like, listen, whoever this character is, hope he serves the story well, and he looks cool. But my thing is that if it is Star Killer, if it's Sam Witwer, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Same.
It'd be very interesting to saying that. And we've seen Ahsoka fight Inquisitors before in Rebels. But the thing is, if this is actually Vader's apprentice, like the actual apprentice, whatever, in secret, it'd be very nice to see that that Vader's apprentice is now fighting Anakin's apprentice. Former, stuff like that.
The same master, two sides of the same coin.
Right. I just think that'd be very interesting. So but he has like some type of medieval feel. Like he has a helmet that's like of a knight, but then he had like a little cape he went away, But I like his design though. I like his design. I really
like. Yeah, I have to say, outside of the Ninth Sister from Jedi Survivor, he's my favorite Inquisitor design.
Yeah, no, because especially in the in Comic-Con, it got close up with his lightsaber, and it is like the spinning lightsaber that make you fly and shit, But do wish he threw it, and Ahsoka was like, nah, another day, and stuff. But as we get to the end of the episode, this I found very interesting, and this is what was going to talking about the Great Jedi is right. It was Balin. It was a scene with Balin, Shinhati, and what's her name? Morgan Elsbeth. So basically, she's saying, "Hey, listen, you guys need to go get Ahsoka. She's heading this place, whatever. And you need to kill her, right?" Now, Balin knows Ahsoka because obviously, he was in the Clone Wars. But he was saying that it'd be a shame, to kill her. Just very few, rare Jedis and stuff, right? But this is the thing that's making the distinction between them being just, Sith and actually, gray Jedi, right? Because I think that there's lots of level of respect he has for Ahsoka that's not addressed, and I think that's very interesting. And because he's like, I'm not trying to kill her. I'm just here to gain power. I don't, and same thing with Shinhati. She's just following orders from her master. But again, there's what Dave Filoni said that there's a reason why their lightsabers are not pure red, and it's off like orange and stuff like that. And there's a reason for that. Hold on, let me try to orange meaning, right? I'm gonna find this up today. Learn today.
Yeah, I think a variation of what he said was that it was somewhat of an in between. Like, they're not on the good side nor on the bad side. It's not something easily defined as Jedi and Sith. That's why it's orange.
Yeah. So in terms of their lightsabers, as known, and I'm reading right here from Star Wars lore, that the orange lightsaber color tends to be more peaceful. So you focus on negotiations, but orange sabers users are also very skilled in combat, like Jedi Guardians and like blue lightsaber users. But that's what they're supposed to really exemplify the motion or the motion of strength, because the green is usually known for Jedi consulars. Actually, let me pull up the screen right here. I'm gonna bring up the lightsaber. Oh, let me back up so you get close up. Yeah, so as you can see here, the green is for Jedi counselors who are more peaceful, are not really known for combat, but are very strong in the Force, like Yoda and Luke. Jedi Guardians are more hand-to-hand combat, more for like Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now the Jedi Sentinels are more for are more towards to the Jedi Temple Guards, right? And this is
which one of them became an Inquisitor?
Right. And you also have Balance, which purple lightsabers, which only have one person we know in live action, which is Mace Windu.
Freaking Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, which represents balance of people who have tend to tap into the dark side and the light. Sith is basically self-explanatory. Sith or dark Jedi. You also have this teal color, which represents, prosperity. And then you have the white color, which is Ahsoka's lightsaber currently right now, which represents obedience, right? And this is also kind of like parts of it really, to me, even you go into the biblical term, it also kind of represents like the fruits of the spirit, even though in Christianity, because if the Force is also there's symbolisms of Christianity or at least of Holy Trinity. In the Clone Wars, you have the Father, the Son, and the daughter, which the son represents the dark side and the daughter represents the light side. But then you also have, in Christianity, the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit. So it's like it's kind of seeing that symbolism there. But again, there was a reason why their lightsabers are not pure red. So they're not supposed to really be evil, but again, representing this color, which is of strength. I'm thinking that they're in the trailer, what Balin was saying, it's like, hey, we're just trying to, get power. That's all we're trying to get. Because I guess there's been a period, just, him being a former Jedi. Hey, there's been a season of us being powerless and going through the Great Purge and all that stuff. And now all I want now is power. And I think potentially the way to get that power is the world between worlds. But I don't know. That's just my theory there. Yeah. But yeah, no. But then we get to the end, and then it gets a little more wholesome moment. Now is that listen, Sabine now getting fully healed now at this point, and she's coming to her senses. Now she want to try to come back to helping Ahsoka again.
Yeah, as Wu Yang had said, like her Force abilities are not at all close to anyone else's, but that doesn't mean that she shouldn't still try. Like handing her back Ezra's lightsaber. And then she when she's fully healed, she goes, regains her armor, and cuts her hair back to how it was during that Rebels finale.
Yeah, which the way she cut her hair was very symbolic of what Kanan did when he was cutting his hair. And I'm trying to find that shot here. Give me 1 second. So where is it? Yeah, so right here, I really like this scene here, and I've seen some people having criticism that the pacing of this was kind of slow, but that's the whole point. Hopefully, I can't say I know. Hopefully, do you guys see this? Oh, hope you guys see it here.
Yeah,
yeah. So hopefully, actually, I can get a better shot than that, but that's where they're the pacing of the show is going to pick up really quick though. But I just thought this again, we're letting you the calm before the storm, and the storm is coming, at least what we see of the trailers, right? But the way that Kanan was cutting his hair in Star Wars Rebels before he put his, because he was blind by Darth Maul. And you've seen the image right here, having his mask, he had to cover his eyes in the same way that she had it in the episode. I just thought that was a great nod to Kanan and everything, which again also is good for her coming to her own, saying, listen, I've been negating who I am for so long now. Now it's finally for me to come back, and be this character again, who she's supposed to be, right? Now, I think I also want to combat this to whether her being a Jedi or not. I don't think the point for her is to be wait on. Was it you were able? Did you guys see that? You didn't see that previously?
Well, I mean, we saw it.
Were you?
Yeah, we saw. Yeah, we saw it. We saw it.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, but for Sabine to come back, and now said, listen, if there's a chance for me to go, get Ezra, I'm gonna take it, right? So I'm all here for it, and it was just good, to see her coming back to her character, but also have her kind of short hair and all that stuff, right? And then basically, and at the end, we're seeing her and Ahsoka getting on the ship, and Ahsoka now referring to her as her Padawan, and which that
Mhm.
concludes in terms of the end of episode 2 as we go into episode 3 tomorrow.
Yep.
But yeah, I just want to say, J King, just like, what is your terms of overall thoughts of like how these how basically how episode 2 kind of concluded on this, and not really in a cliffhanger, but just more of a starting point for the rest of the remaining episodes.
The way episode 2 ended, I was very much, here for how it was going. We got the setup for what the villains are after, we got the setup for what our heroes are after, and not only did we get a sort of recreation of of how Rebels ended with literally Sabine going to the mural and reuniting with Ahsoka. Just, it's not a literal recreation, it's just them doing it again. Um, I'm very much invested. Like, I'm very much excited to see where this journey takes us. Because again, the path to Peridia, again, as I said, the ending credits basically show us what the path to Peridia is if you decode the names of the planets that they all pass through. So it's going to be very interesting to see this journey of basically a race to get there, a race to, make their way there, whether it's through the Eye of Sion that they create, that Morgan Elsbeth is creating that will get them there, or if it's through the Purgle hyperspace whales or through the Loth Wolves, or however they decide to go about it, this race to stop them from getting Grand Admiral Thrawn, but also a race to save Ezra, as well as seeing how the dynamic between a Jedi and a sort of, but not kind of Jedi Mandalorian is going to go. And I'm very also excited to see in terms of like, with Bale, to see his character and everyone like progress throughout these couple of episodes. Because again, they're not necessarily evil, they just want power. So how are they going to respond to certain situations when it comes to both duel and not fighting? That's what I'm very interested to see with this series. Again, it had me just for the fact of Ahsoka and the Rebels crew coming back, but the fact of how grand this is going to be for Star Wars, of getting us out of this galaxy far, far away. I'm very interested to see how this is going to go for all these characters and what they have in store for us. Because again, Dave, and if it brings back anything from the Legends continuity, like Star Killer, or some people even said the Rakatans might come back, because we did get a hint of them in Andor. So they might come back as well. So it's very interesting to see what Dave is going to pull, because you never know what this man's going to pull from Legends or from his own creation at this point.
Right. Yeah. And again, I'm just more, being patient with this show. I'm not overreacting. I just like
Hmm.
in my non-spoiler review, I said this is Star Wars. I'm like, hey, this is Star Wars I'm asking for. I'm not saying you have to blow my mind with this, but this is just a good start.
Right.
Moving on the right direction. Yes, we've gone through the Mandalorian, which Mandalorian was crucial in terms of bringing a little bit back of Star Wars to everybody. But
Hmm.
now we need to get back to true Star Wars with Jedi, the Force, getting into that, the journey, the adventure of Star Wars again, not just keeping it small scale, and again, just the world building it too. Just like I want to see something new, and then we're getting that, and these characters, to me, I feel like are just a launching pin for the remaining like 4 episodes. I'm just
Hmm.
hoping. I just hoping they knock this out apart, because right now I'm pleased. I'm not blown away, other than just how it looks. But again, I just want to just stay patient until really when Thrawn and Ezra come. I just need to see how you do that. And,
Hmm.
and, and at least with Thrawn, it's the same voice actor.
And,
He's
and and we
playing.
saw a little bit of him from the trailer, and he looks good. So
We still have not seen one shot of Ezra other than from him being the hologram and stuff. But
hmm.
I just need to see, okay, where are we going here? Could we know there's a movie that's gonna be the culmination of all this?
Hmm.
That's been
Of the
announced.
of the stuff from this, the stuff from Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and all.
Right. So and like the Dave Filoni, this is gonna be there's gonna be a culmination film, whatever, with this, but I'm just hoping they knock this out apart. I'm hoping all success for Dave Filoni for this, but again, I'm proceeding with caution. I'm not overreacting. I'm saying this is not the best thing in Star Wars, but this just was a good taste of like, hey, listen, this is stuff familiar, something new, and I'm liking what we're watching. And I just hope they
Hmm.
consistent with this. But
Yeah, before fans get the face again. before fans get that face again.
Yeah, we can't please everyone. You also have to remember, like the Force is female, so. But yeah, y'all. But
You're about to kill me with that.
But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to this spoiler review for AHSOKA episode 1 and 2. We'll be doing again another one now that the airtime has been. By the way, shout out to airtime changing the mess for your Disney Plus shows. I'm on the East Coast. I'm not getting up in 3 o'clock in the morning to watch this damn show, and then I have to get up and get up at 7 so I can go to work and be on time and stuff like that. No, the only thing I should be getting up for 3 o'clock in the morning is anyway. I can't say that.
Hey, hold on.
What I'm trying to say is this: is that I enjoyed the fact that they going to be switching the airtime to 6 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern time, which I think they confirmed also that's going to be how they can move forward with Loki, which come in October, just around the corner. So yeah. So anyway, y'all,
which is a good thing. I mean, hey, in the beginning again for us 3 a.m. it wasn't bad, but it
was bad. Some of the episodes weren't even good, and I'm like, why the hell did I get up for this shit?
Right. Like, so putting it at like a prime time, like 8 or 9 p.m., that definitely gives a lot of people the ability to see it on time. So
yeah, nah, I'm just like, no. 9 p.m. is a good time, and if you look at your reports, which I'm gonna work on doing a video about this, cable is gonna go bye. So it's like, hey, who needs primetime television? Streaming service to do primetime. So yeah, so yeah, y'all. But till next time. So see, this is Jedi Mike. It's Jay King. Jay King, where can people find you?
You can find me here. You can find me on my Insta. Link in the description.
Yeah. You can find me here on my platform, Jedi Mike 7. You also find me on Team JVS Media Production LLC. I actually just got my approval recently of the African American Film Critic Association. I got in. There's a long process of getting into that, getting certified. So, but yeah, no, yeah, I got in.
Hold on a sec. Greg Pill is trying to say something.
Wait. Not saying I watched. Oh, well, hey, matter of fact, no, we'll talk about that because anyway. So I'm also working on another video because we haven't talked about. Well, I've talked about Blue Beetle, but I'm going to talk about the current state of Hollywood, or at least with about superhero fatigue and everything, and all those films could be into that discussion. I might do a Saturday, and I'm gonna probably do my best to see how many people I can get on that discussion with me on that. But stand by.
And for all of you who saw, the recent video was that Miles Morales' Spider-Man video that I just put up, which I couldn't not have that conversation because it just got too out of hand. But next one I am working on, for all of you guys who are looking forward to Spider-Man 2 on PS5 in October, be sure to look out because I have some stuff to get you catched up if you don't want to replay the games.
Yes. And my wife is watching. She already know what to say. So in order to play the get Spider-Man PS5, you have to own a PS5. So my birthday is October 15th. I'll be 25, and that 25 is a big age. You know what I mean? So they just announced a new PSP console for PS5. So it's like portable, only $200 max, I think. So I think that's a win for all of us. You have to understand the PSP was ahead of its time, but that means we can play consoles on the go, So, just anyway, you're able to just to bless your husband, to serve. We were in this space talking about submission and, talking about, and being, serving your husband. There's a way you can serve your leader. And that is to bless me with the PS5. I don't think that's asking too much though, but so
I mean, I own a PS5 and I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, see, we got a witness. Amen. No, but yeah, y'all. But till next time, y'all. We'll also be uploading some other videos coming out throughout this week. And check out my coverage of San Diego Comic Con with of the AHSOKA booth, and just covering a few things we also discussed here on this episode and stuff like that. But till next time, this is J King. This is Jedi Mike 7. Peace. We are out, and be the force with you always.
Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.